Cool. I think. Oh my god. I have 2 YouTube viewers already? Is that me? Am I the 2 YouTube viewers? I think I might be the 2 YouTube viewers. Yep, looks like it. Alright. Alright, so today I'm on my Windows desktop instead of the Linux virtual machine, so I do want to try and get the dev container situation figured out so I can do some Linux development on my Windows machine here. So the way I might want to do that is make sure I have Docker installed in my WSL container. I don't remember if I got it installed or not. Uh, Docker, uh, hello world? Docker not found. Okay. That's what I thought. So we need to go to, what's it called? Install Docker Ubuntu and follow these instructions. Before installing Docker, make sure you consider the following, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so can I pin this to the top? No? I want to keep this window on top of everything. I'm not seeing an option. Okay. Alright, we'll do this the old-fashioned way. I will put this here, click on this. Something like that. Okay, there we go. So we need to get Docker installed in my Ubuntu WSL environment. Ooh, what version of Ubuntu am I running? How do you do that? LSB release dash, is it B or A? A. I am on 2404. That should be fine, I think. So I'm not going to be doing any development straight in the container or in the WSL environment. It's going to be in a container. So I guess let's make sure we don't have anything installed. We don't. Set up Docker apt repo. So let's copy this. Oh, it needs my password. Okay, yeah, we don't have anything. All right, so let's set up the app repo. Let's paste, hit run. Okay, so now we should be able to install Docker from the apt repo. Is this Fiona Apple? Who is this? Strugale. Never heard of her. Let's see here. That installed. So now we should be able to run sudo docker run hello world, sudo docker run hello world. And we got hello world. So we are up and running. Now, I think that might be all I need to get dev containers working. If not, I'll have to get Docker desktop. So in my repo here, ooh, let's make sure I'm on the latest. Main. Pull this down. Reopen in container. Dev containers require Docker to run. Do you want to install Docker and WSL? Did I not just already install Docker and WSL? Docker's already installed. Oh, do we need a certain... Alright, whatever. I'll trust the VS Code to know what configuration it needs for Docker. I assume something is happening. Okay, so what's going on? Warning, app does not have a stable CLI interface. Use with caution, blah, blah, blah. Run in host. So is it good? Let's try. Nothing else. Oh, something's happening now. Maybe I'm being impatient. Let's do Linux. Something's happening. We're building a container. I think we are in. Wow, this is going to be a very quick stream if this just works first try. I thought I was going to have some issues with Docker Desktop. All right, let's see here. We'll do playing release. Forgot how slow using WSL writing to my local disk is. Come here. No, come on. Come here. Come on, Trill. Come on. What? What are you doing? Come on. Oh my gosh. Don't flop and roll in front of me like this. Get up here. Come on. No. Camera shy. All right, where are we? We are making, or we are trusting Git is what we're doing. And then this is getting compiled. Making some progress. I have created or laid out some objects here for what will eventually be an API for the Awen engine. It's getting warm in here. Gonna kick on the fan. Throw my cat out. It's being a twerp. Aren't you? I have a friend watching right now. I could really use a monster. And I am all out. Came here to write some code and drink some monster, and I'm all out of monster. I am on a new camera today. New old camera. I think it's technically 4K camera, but I don't know if it's as good as my other camera. But my Canon, what is it? My Canon EOS Rebel T7i is really struggling to keep a stream going past like 3 or 4 hours. So I had to switch to my webcam in the meantime. Might start looking for a different camera. Figure's done. All right. So we should be able to build. Ooh, let's set install. All right, everything's built. we're looking pretty sharp here. Awesome. So where was I? I was in the process of trying to figure out what this window object would look like. I am thinking... Hmm. I'm trying to decide how I want to handle nodes. Because do I want nodes to be scene graph where like every node has a position, transform, rotation? I could start there. I'm also thinking there's widgets, which is more, or is everything a widget? Because I like the separation between just plain old nodes and widget nodes, which are more UI facing, intersection testing types of nodes for user inputs. So I'm thinking like, well, with Pong, we don't really have UI. I mean, I guess we could have like labels. So it'd be like, I don't know. Because we have our window here, and in our window, we're going to want to add a paddle left equal, right? Ooh, that's not right. We want to add the paddle to the window. I might have to fix that. I think with engine, there's only going to be certain objects we can add to the engine or allow to be added to the engine. Because it's with the window that you want to add these nodes. I think I keep running into this issue because then what if you want to add physics to your game, right? I can just say let's see. Let's say you could do like paddle let's see. Auto paddle body equals. So that would be like a paddle physics body. Paddle left add child. Right. So we could do that. And I think we can clean a lot of this up using some template functions to, when you add a child, it just returns a reference, which you can store in a object pointer if you need to keep track of it, which we already have today. So that's good. That's really good. I don't like that it's saying I've got... Okay. Just had to check something. So we can do all that. Maybe... Maybe this becomes like auto window equals, or maybe even like auto reference window equals engine dot create system, which creates a window. So now the window is in charge. Like if you're gonna have widgets nodes in this game, they get attached to the window because that is what's going to render the window. And if you want physics, we could potentially do something like this becomes kind of, I wouldn't say this is easy. I almost wonder if I should go with easy. So this would register a physics system. The engine itself. Well, now see, now we're doing kind of a entity component design, and I don't know if I necessarily want to do that either. So we have entity engine dot create entity. Can I zoom in? Control Shift plus. See some people popped in. Whether you're actually here to watch me write some code or not, I'm not sure, but I will, at a bare minimum, make the text a little bit bigger for you. So yeah, see, the problem with this kind of API is now it becomes a little bit more verbose, and I have to do stuff like entity dot add, and it might be like physics dot create body or create component, right? Create component body 2D. And so then that would add the component to the entity object, and the physics system would like keep a reference to it or own it. I'm not sure. That's getting too complicated. So I don't want to do any of that. I want this to be a little easier. So I think maybe I inherit from engine so that if you need a window, you just do on widget window instead of engine. And then this becomes window.run. And so anything you add, any object you add to the window could get rendered. Hey, YQ sort, how's it going? Appreciate you stopping by to say hi. So we do that. Then I could just keep the API like so and be able to go, hey, I have a window. We'll create a node. Something like that. And then we could, yeah, nothing's stopping us then to do something like auto body 2D equals node dot. Do I want to? I think I still call it like create node, right? So now we can set like position, velocity. Thought I heard my cat snoring. My cat likes to snore pretty loudly. Yeah, I'm just kind of working on a C++ framework. It's an opportunity for me to tinker with some new language features, making use of C++ modules. So that's where you're seeing this import statement. So that's C++. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of just you just kind of caught me in the middle of a thought process and how I'm trying to plan out my APIs. How long have you been learning C++ for? All right. Create new body. Hmm. So this, we almost need. I have been learning for a few months using learncpp.com. That's pretty cool. What's making you want to learn C++? You know, something else I could do. Oh, I'm tired. Something else I could do is under the hood, if you create a physics body, I do like the idea of component types just for the fact that I can enforce the API a little stronger. That way you're not just nesting a bunch of component types with a bunch of component types. You only nest entities. This is so tough. Programming's hard. You've if you're trying to learn C++, it's hard. Welcome to the struggle. It's real. There's so many different ways I am thinking about how I want to build my APIs out. I like some stuff about some of them, but I don't like all stuff about any of them. Um, so we could still do node based, but allow for like composition, which would look like this. So you have entity create entity. We don't actually need to create the physics system. That could be created on the fly. Entity dot create component. So when this happens under the hood, we can ensure a system exists the first time a physics component is needed. Oh, it's your you are doing C++ as your first language? Welcome to my career. I went to school and I learned like I took one class of C and then immediately jumped into C++ and then I have been using C++ ever since. So I welcome you to the challenge, if you will. I kind of like this. So then we could do and paddle equals entity dot create component on node rectangle. So we could do something like that. That way you can't just nest body 2D nodes under body 2D nodes. That doesn't make sense. So having an API that's easy to use and hard to use incorrectly, that's where you want to be. If you can help it. And then under the hood, this would create a system. So maybe I try this. I could have a equal engine.create system. So we could have a window. You could have a situation where entity2 equals, let's call it entity parent equals engine.create entity. So then you could do entity.set parent. Yeah, but see, if I'm doing this, I'm just using flex at this point. So I'm back to where I started, and that makes things complicated. I don't really need an entity component system. I just want to enforce strict API boundaries. So create entity, create component. The problem I'm trying to solve right now is the generic objects can be added as children, which can be added as children, which can be added as children. But for something like a game engine where you want like physics, and you want the physics to work in a specific manner, you don't necessarily always want to nest physics. Well, maybe that's on the user to decide. I can't hold the hand for everyone. So maybe we just allow it and it's on them to figure it out. So if I go back to, we create the window. I need a way to create the window. I think that has to happen no matter what. So say we start there. That makes things easier. I'll get the graphics up and running. And I can always refine later. So now the question becomes, what library do I put my window in so that it receives the dependencies it needs for using Raylib and doing scene traversal, scene hierarchy, that kind of stuff. So I think, oh my gosh, I'm tired. I think what I need I think I need a widget library. I just say everything's a widget. Yeah, a widget assumes a width and a height. And I don't think everything that I want to draw will have a width and a height. I want to look something up here. Q. Yeah, it's not quite what I want to go for. So maybe I have a node library. That's where the window sits. That will be where the window hierarchy happens. But the window does have to be aware of control nodes or widget nodes so it can pass events around. So I have the graphics library here, but I think this becomes a raylib library. That way, at some point, I can swap raylib out for a more complex rendering engine like Skia. So then I need Skia. Let's see, scene. This is the hardest part about programming. If you're still there, you're watching me struggle naming. That's my struggle right now. Is I don't know how to name this. So I also want to keep libraries and separation of concerns. That's important. Yeah, I have two books. Um, One is effective. Oh shoot, what's it called? Effective C++ by Scott Myers. Whatever the latest book he has out, which I honestly haven't read. I've read one of them. Um, I would say it has impacted my career greatly. You might hear me say stuff like, "I want to write code that is easy to use, hard to use incorrectly." That came from Scott Myers' book. And that's all about writing code to to utilize the compiler and types to make sure it's used intentionally with intention, right? So that's the difference. And there's little things you can do. If in C++ here, if you're trying to like keep track of time, I'm making a game engine, and so I might want to keep track of the delta time every time a game loop iterates. So a certain amount of time has lapsed. It might be like 0.0001 seconds, but some amount of time lapsed. Now, how would you store 0.001 seconds? You would store it in a float, right? And call it delta time, right? But there's a problem here. We can call it delta time, we can give it a float, but we don't know what this is, right? We only know because someone said so. Someone said, hey, delta time is for frame updates, its units are in seconds, right? Someone said that. Or maybe you name your variable delta time seconds. That's not good enough because that could be mistaken. You could, let's say you write a function called, I don't know, update, right? That takes in a float delta time seconds, and you're gonna do some math. The problem here is there is nothing stopping someone from putting any value there, even though you're just expecting like a small delta time. So you could make use of C++ concepts and misuse of the word concept. C++ like static typing to ensure proper use of your code. So instead of using something like float delta time, which now to be fair, you're going to see this all over the place, and this might be of my opinion, but I would prefer to do something like standard chrono duration float delta time. So you can do something like that. So that way you still get your floating precision, but this is a chronotype. Let's do something like this. And then that means you can write an update function that takes this chronotype, and now you are forcing whoever is calling your functions, you are forcing them to be like, hey, if you're going to use this function, you have to acknowledge that it is a duration type, that it is something that measures time and not just some arbitrary float value. So things like that. I think in that effective C++ book, they even talk about storing days, months, years as integers, right? Pretty straightforward. Well, the problem with that is an integer is like what? Negative, oh man, off the top of my head, like negative 2 million to 2 million or negative 4 million to 4 million. That's a wide range. Well, instead of using an integer, create a class or a struct called month and limit it to, 1 through 12, right? Making your code more strict with how it can be used. You eliminate a lot of potential bugs, and especially if you end up with a lot of people working on your code base, you eliminate a lot of maintenance headache trying to ensure everyone is writing code the way you expect them to write, which becomes huge later on in a career if that's what you're aiming for. But effective C++, and then it's a little old, but there's a book called Design Patterns by I forget what the four names are, but it's regularly referred to as the Gang of Four. Just that helps familiarize yourself with something called design patterns, which is a way to like solve common software problems with common ways of writing code to solve those problems. Just having that knowledge, even if some of the patterns might be out of date, just being aware of what software design patterns are and what you can do with them goes a long way. Hopefully that answered your question, even if it was kind of roundabout. Don't tell everything that you can. Yeah, I don't. Man. I'm gonna cheat here. I'm gonna see what the LLM thinks about my question. I have a question, sir. I'm building up an API a for an application slash game engine. My current approach is similar to how Qt and Godot manage object relationships. I'm struggling, though, with the idea that a developer could add children to other objects that don't expect those children to be on them. This seems like a recipe for misusing the APIs. I wonder if there is something I should do to ensure only specific objects are allowed to be added slash added as children. Oh, anytime. I'm happy someone's here asking. I'm used to solicitors coming by to chat with me, but having someone genuinely ask about C++ is kind of nice. You're one of the handful who have come by to say hi and ask questions. I am happy to answer any C++ questions you might have. I mean, I do it for a career. I've been doing it for a career for a long time. I've helped train a bunch of people to get them where they are today. And now you're seeing me be super lazy and asking an LLM to see what solutions it has in mind. All right, yeah, this is a well-known API design problem. Here are the main approaches. Make add child protected. Expose typed overloads recommended. Okay, so I've done this before. This could work. It just becomes annoying because every object you have to write, you have to add, you have to expose these functions. So it's extra code you have to write. But not the end of the world. I could do this. Uh, the Yeah, I could do this. No add child exposed at all. Paddles are leaf nodes. Pros, compile time error, zero overhead, expressive, the type signature document's intent. Cons, every container class must enumerate its accepted children explicitly, which can be verbose. Yep. That's the issue. Or that's my issue. It does get tedious. Or maybe you write an object where you're allowed to have anything on it. Well, now you can't do that because you made this add child protected. Option 2, concept constrained templates in derived class. I have done it this way before too. Oh. Maybe I haven't done it this way. Interesting. Maybe. Interesting. I'll have to consider that one. This is essentially what your scene node handle system already does. Yep. Runtime validation hook, and now runtime validation I've definitely done before. This one gets a little old. If you need flexibility, editor tooling, or scripting, add a virtual gate. Oh, yeah. Yep. This is what I've done before. Means bugs are only caught at runtime. Yes, that is true. Create observation from your own code base. Your scene node handle system already solved this problem cleanly, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and I also want to... I eventually want this to work with scripting languages. And there won't be anything to... Like, this won't... I don't think this works for a scripting language. It's not generic enough, I don't think. I don't think. So it might come down to this. I might just have to do this. If you need flexibility, editor tooling or script... yeah, there you go. So if I need the flexibility, I could add a gate. And so it's just going to be runtime error checking. Hey, cat. What are you doing? What are you doing? You want to say hi? Huh? Say hi. Hi, Trill. Hmm. His name is Trill. You can probably figure out why. He might want down. Hi, Trill. What are you doing? Hmm? Oh, he wants down. All right, come on, buddy. What? Oh, now he's flopping and rolling. Oh, no, now he's biting me. All right, we're done. Okay, yeah, this might be the way to go so that I can support scripting. Just might have to put up with it. So in object, we have a virtual function that says, hey, accept object. And then I think in derived classes, we have to check the type at runtime. Yep, with a dynamic cast check. This is how Qt Godot work, but it means bugs are only caught at runtime. I do plan to use this code for scripting languages. This makes me think type enforcement at compile time won't work. With scripting in the picture, you need runtime enforcement. Here are the viable approaches. Okay. All right. That's what it sounds like. I'm going to have to do some runtime enforcement at some point. So I think for now, I move on, and I'm back to my original problem. Where the heck do I put my window class that handles rendering everything based on its object hierarchy? Crap! It's going to have a dependency on objects. It's going to have a dependency on flex. It's going to have a dependency on raylib. I could put it in the widget library, but do I just put everything? Nodes, nodes and widgets are kind of separate things. I'm going to look something else up. Oh man. Don't fall asleep. You just started streaming. Now is not the time. Do not show weakness. Uh, okay. Uh, can I just put my window? Hey, there's my daily view bot offer. Weird. All right. So I think I can have the Raylib library and graphics. The scene is probably where I put the window. So then this becomes auto window equals standard make unique Awen scene window. Because everything I need should be there to do rendering, event handling. At some point, I am going to need access to widgets that have a width and a height in order to do mouse detection to forward events to where they need to go. That makes me think the window needs it's going to need to know the list of controls. So how does it You know, LLM's been helping me out. All right. One question worth resolving now. What would happen when a script passes an incompatible child? Silent failure, a returned error code, or scripting exception? That decision should drive whether add child returns bool or throws. I'll almost never throw exceptions. So a bool is probably what I'll need. Or maybe even a standard expected. A standard unexpected. Unexpected is not a return type itself. It's the wrapper used to construct it. Yeah, I know. You said throw, so I was saying unexpected. Okay, now that we're done with that, I have a new question. I don't need to say that. It doesn't care. I want to implement a window class that utilizes the graphics window that wraps Raylib. The intention here is I can swap out the graphics window with a different back end. This is context, not something I'm asking about. What I want to know is what library should I put my window object in? I have a scene. I expect the window to be responsible for traversing the object hierarchy under itself. Expect the window to be responsible for traversing the object hierarchy under itself. This means calculating render order, render command list, etc. I also want the window in charge of handing off input events to widget derived object, object derived widget, to widget derived objects that are GUI component based, or GUI based. Width, height. I'm struggling to know if this window class belongs in its own library with node derived objects or with widget derived objects or some combination. What are your thoughts? The simple solution is obviously just throw it all in one big library. Oh, don't read the code. That stuff isn't correct. Dang it, I should have told it that. All right, let's see what we got. I have a good picture. Object engine signal. Raylib. The window object is the boundary layer between three things. Traversal, render, blah, blah, blah. That alone disqualifies both scene and graphics at its home. Neither should pull in the other. The natural answer is Awen UI. Node, widget, window. Okay, so I just need to put it all in there. Node object derived base for visual objects holds a Z order and knows how to contribute a draw command, bridges the object tree to on scene traversal. I'm okay with Awen.ui. What about naming conventions? Is node and widget a good way to distinguish between generic drawables and GUI interfaces? Hi Trill, how you doing? What? My cat just cannot stand me talking aloud, can you? I think there is missing context here. Awen scene is a proof of concept on how to use Flex for render traversal, for order traversal. I plan to remove this and integrate Flex with the core, with the node object, so that all nodes slash widgets will copy their state into Flex for rendering. So I can do this, but my camera needs to like face down more, I think. Ooh, my camera's warm. Yikes. Is there a way to... Alright, earthquake time. Does this lift up? Oh, it does. Earthquake! How's that? I don't know if there's anything that needs to be seen down here per se. I guess that works. I guess. Okay, so what are we thinking? What changes with Flex's rendering backend? Flex itself uses the word entity for its graph nodes, not node, but node is a generic graph term, and having visual node would be exactly the same collision problem. What changes? Wait, what? Key open question. Who owns Flex World? This is a great question. This is the most consequential architectural decision. Two options, the window or the engine. Yeah, I'm thinking about the engine. So now you're saying Awen Core, graphics, visual. Oh, they're wanting me to call it visual instead of node. I don't know if I like that. All right. I'm going to go throw my cat around somewhere because he keeps bugging me. Probably wants out in the garage or he wants food. I don't know which, but we'll find out. Come on, Tro. grabbing a drink of water. Where was I? I don't mind engine owning Flex World. Is there a way to hand it off to other nodes to create entities slash register components without exposing it as a public API? I don't think there is. Unless I started like adding friend to everything. Which I don't think I want to do. Passkey idiom best fits here. Engine exposes narrow methods for specific operations, each gated by a token only the permitted type can construct. So what now? Reusable token. You pass in. Capability interface injected at startup. That I thought about doing. Seems complicated. I think I just make Flex in a public API and say, hey, don't touch this unless you know what you're doing. Seems complicated. Maybe I just have it as a public API and document to not touch unless you know what you're doing. Is that what I do? Guess that's what I do. I make Flex a part of core, so I think we start that now. Oh, do I not have? Oh, I don't have Flex integrated right now. That's right. I forgot. that was on a branch. Crap. That means I don't have the patch file. Nope, I don't have the patch either. All that work I did to get this work with Flex, and it's not on this branch. So I need to... I need to do all this. I'm going to drag this over here. So step one is creating a ports file with all of this. So new folder, ports, Flex. Hopefully there wasn't a new line there because I know spacing and white space matters in get diffs. I think we're okay. So then I need to add it to port file. Okay, I think that's all I needed. All right. Then I need to add Flex as a dependency to this project. Gosh darn it, corrupt patch. I knew copy and pasting wasn't going to work. Maybe AI can fix it. I'm guessing it's a line ending issue. I don't know if I have an extension that visualizes my line endings. I probably should get one. Render line endings. Let's try it. Oh, maybe I don't have a new line. Okay. Is this not rendering? Render white space. There we go. Yeah, that's working. Okay. Cool. That should have done it. Let's configure. Is this black sheep? What is this? Sounds like black sheep. Oh wait, is it black sheep? It is black sheep. Hello again, friend of a friend. I knew you when. Oh my gosh, this is still busted. How do I fix this? The world to win. Now that your worth is just a... This is still busted. If it helps, this patch exists on the flex branch. And I know that works. Of you. Okay, let's try it again. All right, I'm gonna change things up a little because I want to program, but I want to watch some YouTube. And I guess I don't know. I don't know what the implications are of watching YouTube. Is it okay to watch YouTube during a live stream? Oh, I see. So I probably want to get permission, which is fine. Dang it. There's probably not a way to feed a different video stream to Twitch. I could have the music playing for the stream, but shut it off in my ears. Can I do that? Hmm. Stuff is compiling. That's good. So the other thing I need is to create a flex library. Okay, that worked. So then I compile. Cool. All right. So in core, I want to create a new file called flex.h. Then in here, I need target. Okay, so we'll do that. And then I also need to link libraries. Link against Flex. And then for Windows, there's additional compile options that causes issues. Okay. And then I need to find a package. Okay. And then I also need this, but not this. Okay. All right. If all goes well, I should now be able, in engine here, include core/flex.h. Or is it just flex.h? Flex.h. And I can make flex world a member variable. First try. Dang it. Okay. What do we got here? Flex not portable path to file. Specify path differs in case from file name. Oh, yeah. I renamed it differently on purpose. Oh, it's still the frickin' on Windows. It doesn't know. Is this like against the current? Against the current. Man, I'm good. Okay. I think that worked. Okay. Baby steps. We're getting there. So this will integrate the Flex library into our project. my gosh. My virtual machine crashing? There it goes. Okay. Hmm. Warning, in the copy, CRLF will be replaced by LF the next time. Yep, that makes sense. I'm okay with all this. Oh my gosh, WSL, be faster, please. Why? There we go. All right, we'll let that build. Hopefully it passes so I can get this integrated and I can keep going. Be right back. We're almost all green, folks. Heck yeah, look at that. That's how you write good code. Okay. Is there a way to improve performance with dev containers other than put everything inside the container? Dev container performance slow. Okay. That was not useful. That was not useful. All right. So we've got Flex built in now. So now the next step. Oh, do I just... I don't want to nuke all the work I've done. But maybe I do. Okay. So I want... I can have Awen.ui. I think graphics needs to become Raylib almost. This hurts my heart. I don't know what to do. Qt Quick does item and control. Godot uses nodes and controls. Control, everyone seems to understand is the UI interface, so I might do that. Hmm. The scene library will contain the Flex implementation for the different node types because it's going to be component based. I need to be able to add components for the renderer. So all of that is going to have to be Flex and graphics and scene will have to contain Flex components. So then I need a new folder. I'm gonna look something else up. Yeah, I'm thinking I'll have the entity component stuff defined for graphics in the graphics library, the scene graph traversal stuff in the scene library. So if I want to create, I could call it, see, node, that's kind of what scene goes to. This is going to be like widgets. Scene widget. So I think I'm going to put all the visual elements in here. So this becomes Awen widget. There will be a widget base class. I suppose. Don't need any of this. This guy will depend on Awen, or we got to do it in reverse order. Awen scene, Awen graphics, Awen core. So the widget is really what's going to pull it all together. That's where we're going to assign nodes, define the synchronization function. The window will know of widgets. So we're going to have a window. So that built. I think I just go with node. Did I just say node? Are you back? Hey, what are you doing, buddy? Huh? What are you doing? What? What are you doing? Huh? Don't bite me. Ow, ow, ow. Don't bite me. Hello, Twitch viewer. Appreciate you stopping by, even if it is for a brief second. If you're unsure of what you're seeing on screen, it's the struggles of a software engineer who is exhausted trying to build a framework that is complicated. Let's see here. So that compiled, that's good. So it's a lot of watching paint dry. So I think node is going to be where I need to start. So this is a module that we're going to export as a widget.node. Export namespace Awen. Widget. Oh my gosh, that's not what I want. I also need to import Awen.core. Have this guy derived from object. Cool. Alright, so first and foremost, the most important function that we're going to need for this class is a synchronize function, which is going to look something like, we're going to need flex, include flex.hpp. Gosh, what is this going to look like? Is it just the integer we return? So would it look something like flex entity type synchronize flex optional, I think, standard optional flex entity type. Ooh, is it a parent that we pass in? We need optional. I don't think we call it parent. I think we call it node. Or I guess entity. But this is where it's going to... Ooh, let's see what AI thinks I'm trying to do here. Synchronize with the provided entity, synchronize without the entity. Not quite. So if the entity isn't given, we have to create it ourselves via the engine. So this would look like auto entity equals... Do I have the access to the engine from here? On core engine instance. Does that work? I feel like I have to import it. Or I guess I am technically importing it. Compiled. I just want this to work. What you want, buddy? Huh? What are you doing? Hmm? What are you doing? What are you doing? What? Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? Yeah. Huh? Oops. Freaking out. Where are you now? Expected class name. Node error expected class name object redefinition of entity. What? Rude. I can't find. I guess I don't really need this. I guess I can do. And this will basically be the optional type. So then it's like, hey, if entity dot is valid is not valid is not valid. Create it, return it. Like that. There we go. All right, so now what's going on here? Member reference engine is a pointer. Did you mean to use an arrow? Yes. You don't tell me what to do. Error expected class name. Error no member name world in engine. Oh, did I not? I will survive. Okay, we're almost there. So what's going on here? Error expected class name encore heh, object. Is that not a class name? Ooh, do I not have object in core? I do. Oh, I didn't give it the core namespace because I'm terribly inconsistent right now. I gotta get all this fixed up. There we go. I don't even need this file anymore. Oh, come on. Okay. So that's cleaned up. Now I need to figure out what the heck I'm doing. So I think this is essentially going to be overridable. Do you have to override it? Because I can do this and then do a node 2D a la Godot, I guess. I think I'm going to end it here. I've streamed enough. This is a good stopping point. I've got stuff that compiles, and I've got a starting point for the rendering. Let me get this pushed up. Define synchronization interface for node type. But I am tired. Maybe I'll be back on later tonight. I'm not sure. Why is this not showing up? Got at least one chatter to come by, say hi. I think that counts as a win. Wanted to test out my webcam, and it seems to be doing okay. I guess I'll at least make sure this gets... Okay, it's not pushed up yet. Gonna make sure this passes the pipelines right now. Right now. What you looking at? Huh? What you looking at now? PETA. I heard of this before. Sweet. All right, that is green. Green is good. And we will end it here for now. Don't know if I'll be back on later this evening or not. Maybe if I'm in the mood. Maybe if I feel like playing a game. We'll see. For anyone who came by